So the primer has dried. Now we're going to cut again, as I will be painting some Vallejo Russian Green 4BO off screen. That's basically going to be the main color of this tank. So I'll go quickly do that, and I will once again be right back. And there is my paint job. Please feel free to leave a paragraph in the comments section telling me why I use the wrong shade of green. I'm positive you will. So, as you'll notice, everything is just a dull olive green right now. Looks kind of boring. So, to help highlight some of these areas here, I'm going to be using 2 Thin Coats Demon Red. Just kidding. I'm going to be using AK's Pigment Faded Green. Pigments is a good way of kind of getting that airbrush feather look without using an airbrush. So let's throw some of that on. I'm using a Tamiya sponge brush, and just with not too much on the brush, like put some of your pigment on and then rub it off on a paper towel and just gently brush that on. So I want to get that on all the raised areas. There, now as you can see, there's a little more color variation on the tank. I didn't go overboard with it. Just want to keep it more subtle. Now for the wheels and the sides of the tank, I want to give it that light, dirty brown look. So I'll be using Vallejo's Light Sienna pigment. And for this time I'll be using a wide dry brush. For this instance, I really want to make this look dirty and messy, so I'll be really globbing this on. And I'm basically just stippling it on very heavy. And as you can see, the pigment will also settle into those crevices too. So I probably should have painted those tire rims black before I put all that dirt on, so I'm just gonna give that a quick coat of Abaddon Black from Citadel, and we'll get back on track. While I'm waiting for those tires to dry, I'm gonna do some more weathering here. I am going to create some splashed mud effects using Vallejo Model Wash Oiled Earth and a brush with some damaged bristles that would be ideal for this effect. Take a good amount of that, and with my finger just flick some on. So there's how it looks done. The splatter might look a little big for the scale, but this is 72. It's kind of hard to achieve that. This would probably look better on 35th scale. In the meantime, I finished up the tires. Looking much better now. Now I've got to move on to the part I've been dreading this whole build. Putting on these tracks. Now it's a complex process, not in theory but in practice. So what I've basically got to do is take these lawn pieces. They're gonna go on the bottom and the top of the tread design. So yeah, we would start off like that. And then I've got to link up every single one of these single tracks, which is supposed to help with the curvature. Now, to make sure that's all glued together and it fits around the tires perfectly, I've basically got to put every one of those tracks on and put some extra thin, and just with capillary action gently dot each connecting point, and hopefully that'll give me enough time to bend the whole track into place. And I've got to do it all before the glue permanently dries. So, wish me luck. So that is now done. The splatter spots are a little large for the scale, but being 172, it's a little difficult to control the splatter to make it fit the scale. It would probably look better on 35th, but I can live with it. The tires have also been touched up, so now I need to glue all of these onto the backing here. Just gonna quickly glue them all with some Tamiya extra thin cement. Okay, tires are all on there. And now it's time for the part I've been dreading the most for this whole build. I've got to put the treads on. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is not the usual rubber track style that you can just wrap around in one piece. This is many individual pieces. So basically what I gotta do, you've got two lawn pieces, one for the bottom and one for the top. And then I've got to connect together all these single parts to form the curvature of the tread. And the best way to do this is to put each piece on here, and then using extra thin cement with capillary action, just place tiny dots on each one, and then I gotta fairly quickly bend that into shape to conform around the wheels. And hopefully I'll be able to do all that before the glue dries solid and the whole thing is ruined. So wish me luck. One side note before we get to that part, I am giving the tracks some track rust pigment from AK, and judging from the performance, I think it's a safe bet who makes the better pigments between AK and Vallejo. So I'm just stippling that on each track, and it'll give it that brown rusty look. So I'm only concerned with the bottom half at the moment. That's going to be the real challenge. I've got everything on a wood board, as if I had done this just on my plastic cutting mat using the Tamiya cement, it would just stick right to the mat. And one very, very important error I need to address to anyone who may be building this kit. As you can see here, they've got the individual tracks listed by 12 and 11. The 11s are the ones with this little connecting rib there in the middle, and the 12s are just flat pieces. They have completely mixed them up. As you can see, this part with the connecting rib, that should be an 11, but it's a 12. So yet again, Revell with a typo in their instructions. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Alright, let's do this. So first thing I'm doing is connecting all the pegs together without any glue. This part alone is hard. Making sure that the pieces don't pop up out of alignment like they're doing right now. Come on, don't do this to me. I almost completely screwed that up. Okay, it does seem to be on there decently well. So now I can just sit the top section on this. Would you look at that? It doesn't even align. I don't know what I did wrong. Aside from the big typo in their instructions, I think I pretty much followed them as they should be. I mean, it's as if they didn't give you enough of the single piece tracks. And it's not just me making excuses. I know it's my first tank, but this just does not seem right. So the only thing I can think to do to salvage this is display the tank with the treads blown off. So I'm gonna make that adjustment and we'll move on. Well, that is the best I can do. It really killed my mood for this build. Alright, let's just get this miserable experience over with. Attach these last few parts. "99% done. And now, because I want to get this thing over with and never want to see it again, I've decided to do the stupidly simple marking scheme included, which is just literally two of these 212 markings, one on each side of the turret. So I'm just going to dip that in some hot water. Give that about 30 seconds, and we will place the decals on. Done. In conclusion, I was really enjoying this build until I came to the tracks. I really wish I could have made them work better, but like I said, this was my very first tank. And other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with it. It does make for an adorable little machine of death. So if you want to take a crack at one of these Revell 72nd scale tanks, you can order them at Sunward Hobbies in store or online, including the T-34 and many other models. Oh, it looks like my boss is calling me over to his office. Must be getting that raise, finally. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our socials, and until the next one, adios. Boy, he really looks mad.